It was August 28th, 2013, the last days of summer. The kind of days where parents pack up their cars, drive out to see their kids, and prepare for the next school year. But for Karen and Michael Laspisa, that week would be the beginning of a nightmare they never woke up from. Their only child, Bryce, was a 19-year-old college student with a promising future, a loving family, and a bright smile that masked a series of dark, unraveling events. Within just 24 hours, everything would change. Bryce Laspisa wasn't the kind of kid you'd expect to go missing. He was smart, outgoing, creative, a graphic and industrial design student at Sierra College in Rocklin, California. Originally from Illinois, his family had recently relocated to Laguna Niguel, a quiet beach town in Southern California. Bryce stayed behind for school, and like most 19-year-olds, he was figuring life out, living with a roommate, enjoying freedom, and navigating young adulthood. But the week leading up to Bryce's disappearance was different. He started acting strangely. His friends said he became withdrawn. His girlfriend, Kim, told police he was behaving erratically, even coldly. The usually upbeat Bryce had started giving away his belongings, including his Xbox and a pair of diamond earrings that were sentimental. When Kim asked him what was going on, he simply said, "You'll be better off without me." Words that still echo years later. On August 27th, Bryce left a disturbing voicemail for his parents, telling them he had something important to talk about. But whatever it was, he never got the chance to say. That same night, he broke up with Kim in person. She was worried. Bryce seemed off. She took his car keys to prevent him from driving, but after a phone call with his mom, Karen convinced her son was okay. She told Kim to give him back the keys. It's a decision that haunts her to this day. Bryce got in his car and began driving, but not home. Instead of heading south toward his parents in Laguna Niguel, he drove aimlessly. Hours passed. Then came a call that puzzled everyone. At 11 p.m. on August 28th, Bryce contacted roadside assistance in Button Willow, a remote stretch off I-5, nearly 3 hours from both his college and his home. He'd run out of gas. The serviceman, Christian, helped him refill his tank. It seemed normal enough until Christian spotted Bryce still sitting in the exact same spot 3 hours later. By now, Karen and Michael were panicking. They got in touch with Christian, who kindly agreed to check on Bryce again. When he found him, Bryce was still parked in the same spot, alone, motionless, staring blankly ahead. Christian said Bryce didn't appear drunk or high, just off. Something about him didn't feel right. But Bryce insisted he was okay, said he was heading home. But he didn't. Instead, Bryce remained in Button Willow for 9 hours. He sat in his car, doing nothing, going nowhere. His parents, desperate to reach him, pleaded with him to come home. Bryce promised he would. He said he was fine. He even called them around 2 a.m. on August 30th to say he was driving south. Finally. At 8 a.m., California Highway Patrol found his car. It was overturned at Castaic Lake, just an hour away from his parents' home. The crash looked severe. The back window had been kicked out. His laptop and phone were found inside. But Bryce was gone. No blood, no sign of injury, no footprints, just vanished. The scene was chilling. Investigators concluded that Bryce had intentionally driven his car off a steep embankment, about 25 feet down. It wasn't an accident. It looked like a suicide attempt. But if that was the case, where was the body? Why was there no trace of him? Search crews combed through the lake. They used sonar, helicopters, dive teams, scent dogs, but nothing was found. No clothing, no remains, no confirmed sightings. Not then, not ever. It was as if Bryce had simply stepped out of time, leaving behind a trail of confusion, fear, and silence. The theories began almost immediately. Some believed Bryce had suffered a mental breakdown. Others pointed to possible drug use. Rumors circled that he'd been abusing Vivance, a stimulant often used to stay awake and focus. But toxicology reports are impossible when there's no body. His parents, however, insisted Bryce didn't have a history of drug abuse. He had no diagnosed mental illness, no criminal record, no history of running away, just stress, college stress, relationship stress, and maybe something deeper, something he never had the chance to say. Then there's the other theory, that Bryce staged his own disappearance, that he wanted to start over, somewhere far away. After all, he had no significant injuries from the crash. No blood was found. And his actions in the days leading up to it? Giving away possessions, saying goodbye to friends, telling his girlfriend she'd be better off. It all fits. But there's one hole in that story. He left behind his wallet, his ID, his phone, and his laptop. If he was planning to disappear, why give up the very tools you'd need to survive? As weeks turned into months, tips flooded in. Sightings in the woods, reports of a hitchhiker matching Bryce's description, a homeless man in Oregon who looked eerily like him, but nothing ever confirmed. And every year that passed only deepened the mystery. To this day, Bryce Laspisa remains missing. No remains, no answers. Just questions. Endless questions. His parents still keep his bedroom exactly the way he left it. They keep the same phone number just in case he calls. They've hired private investigators, used psychics, even tested skeletal remains found in other states. All dead ends. It's been more than a decade now. A decade of silence, a decade of waiting, a decade of imagining what could have been. Was Bryce trying to tell someone something that night? Was he scared of something? Or someone? Did he really intend to vanish? Or did he fall victim to something more sinister? Some cases have patterns. Some cases leave breadcrumbs. This one leaves only shadows. He was a son, a student, a young man on the edge of adulthood. And then, in one long drive into the unknown, he was gone. And yet the story doesn't have to end here. What if someone somewhere knows something? What if a forgotten detail or distant memory holds the key? That's where you come in. Watch closely. Listen carefully. Maybe you can help finish the story Bryce couldn't. The pain of not knowing is a weight few can carry. Every missed birthday, every silent holiday dinner is a cruel reminder of a missing piece. Bryce's story isn't just a mystery. It's a wound that won't heal. And until it's solved, it echoes in the hearts of everyone who loved him. So many questions remain. Did someone pick him up after the crash? Did he suffer from an undiagnosed condition that made him flee? Or was it a tragic accident followed by panic and confusion? These questions demand answers, not just for closure, but for truth. The case of Bryce Laspisa is a chilling example of how a person can vanish in plain sight, how one moment can shift the course of everything. His story is not just about loss, but about the relentless hope that he might still be out there. For those watching, your share, your comment, your voice could bring new light to this dark story. Someone out there has to know something, and sometimes all it takes is one clue to break a case wide open. His face is still on missing persons posters. His name still echoes in online forums and true crime circles. Bryce Laspisa hasn't been forgotten, but remembering isn't enough. Let's keep asking, keep pushing, keep hoping. If you have any information about Bryce Laspisa, please contact the proper authorities. Even the smallest detail could matter. Someone out there could be the missing piece. Subscribe to this channel for more unsolved cases, missing person stories, and the truth that often hides in plain sight. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a case. Share this video. Start the conversation. You never know who might be listening. And to Bryce, wherever you are, we haven't stopped looking. We haven't stopped hoping. And we never will.